All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining CompQsoft Digital today. We're going to go ahead and get started in another minute or so. We got some few folks logging in right now, so we're going to get started in 1 minute. All right, with that said, we are going to go ahead and get started. On behalf of everyone at CompQsoft Digital and Microsoft, thank you for taking the next hour to spend with us. Very, very excited about the content that we're going to talk about today. Autonomous agents, one of the most hot topics that everyone's talking about. And we're going to talk about balance. How do you bring autonomous agents into your business? Looking at it from a people process automation perspective. So very excited about the content that we're going to speak about today. Before we jump in, real quick, shout out to everyone. Happy Juneteenth Day. Big holiday in the U.S. So just want to wish everyone an amazing holiday today, an important holiday, and just thank everyone for joining us today's presentation. Now, real quick, what we're going to do is very quickly just kind of talk through CompQsoft, sponsors of today's program. CompQsoft, we are a digital Microsoft global transformation company. We work with various industries, organizations. We have about 500 innovators across the world and been in business for about 25 years. We do focus on specific Microsoft workloads like the dynamic stack that we're going to talk about today, Copilot, data security, and really everything in between. So, we are a one-stop shop. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. We do have a follow the sun global delivery model as well, which has various benefits. We have locations in the US, Mexico City, India, and the Philippines. Now, with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the webinar. And I have to say, very, very excited about these two speakers. They have been disrupting, causing trouble, and having fun all along the way, and really innovating this industry. And the shifts that we're seeing are transformational. So Alpana works for Microsoft. She is the product manager that owns the customer service and the contact center solutions. Great speaker. Highly recommend that everyone reach out to her via LinkedIn. Great information that she continues to get out there through LinkedIn and blogs, and just the technology evolution that she's doing and her team is quite impressive. So very pleased to have you on the call today, and thank you so much for participating. In addition, we have her partner in crime, Jon Rastia. He is our CTO for CompQsoft Digital. And again, he has been focused on contact centers since 2004, been working with the Microsoft stack since then as well, and creates a lot of assets and accelerators. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and talk through the agenda. We're going to go through the Microsoft Autonomous Agent benefits and roadmap, talk about what they're doing from a strategic perspective, and you're going to be blown away when you see what she is presenting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into some real life use cases. How are people using autonomous agents? What are the benefits that we're seeing from these workloads as well? And how do you deploy them? What are some of the shifts? What are some of the gotchas you need to think about? So we're going to cover all those areas and go into detail. So housekeeping, before I jump in, we are going to have Q&A at the end. So feel free to add any questions in the chat window. If we cannot get to those questions, we will then, at the end of the conference, we will reply individually and respond to your question in detail. So I just wanted to kind of remind you of that. So again, the topic today is autonomous agents, and we're going to have fun with that particular topic. We're going to really kind of dive into some of the capabilities. Now, again, autonomous agents isn't something to fear. We have different maturity curves that we're going through in the marketplace right now. Think of it as your super co-pilot, the person or the agent that's going to sit beside you and can do a lot of tasks, which we're going to illustrate today. How do we even repurpose and really kind of focus on some of the more strategic areas from a headcount perspective? So this is going to be a really good concept that we're going to discuss. In addition, I do want to remind people that we are going to have a drawing at the end of this webinar we're going to give away a free autonomous agent assessment to where we'll look at your readiness, we'll look at your dependencies. We will be announcing the winner a couple days afterwards. We'll do a drawing and then reach out to the individual winner as well. So just wanted to remind everyone before we kind of get started from that standpoint. So again, feel free to put your questions in the chat window. We will address those questions as they come up. And really, really excited about Alpana's talk track, what she's going to discuss. And with that said, the floor is yours. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Greg. Really excited to be part of this forum and super excited to see the audience that we have today. Congratulations, everybody, for the Juneteenth. Super excited to be part of this particular conversation. On that note, Greg, Andrea, if you can give me a quick thumbs up that you can see my slides, I can get started.
Very good. We can see everything. Perfect.
Awesome. So to start with, let's talk about the industry mega trends, because one of the biggest perks that I have as part of my job is the ability to talk to SI partners like Greg, John, and talk to our customers and some of the industry leading analyst team members that we have engaged with as Microsoft. So the biggest industry trends that we are seeing today is a threefold, and this should not be a surprise to all of you. First and foremost, agentic AI is redefining the customer experience. Agentic AI is getting infused at every step of the customer engagement journey, and CRM, customer contact centers, are no exception to that. And more than ever, in these times, customers are expecting a connected experience across multiple different channels of engagement, be it voice, be it digital, or even social. Together with both of these, there's a huge potential that is there with organizations today to bring operational efficiencies and effectiveness into their contact center space. So these are the three key trends that we are seeing in the industry today. Now, our vision at Microsoft is to equip organizations with the right tools, with the right infra, with the right AI capabilities to offer you a platform wherein you can modernize your customer service, you can modernize your customer engagement with a complete solution that allows you to start at where you are today and how far you want to go. So we bring a suite of capabilities that take care of different channels, from chat to social to previous channels like email, traditional channels like voice, so on and so forth. And we bring intelligence baked in at every step of the journey, be it the self-service colleague or even to your human agents, to empower them with productivity tools for assisted service. We don't stop there. We also empower your supervisors, your managers to run your business operations effectively and efficiently. Now, 2025, here we are at a real inflection point. Every company I talk to, they realize that they have a huge opportunity to use AI right now to move faster than ever before, to drive for better customer experiences than ever before. And at Microsoft, we have been thinking deeply about it as well. We have been conducting research, we have been talking to different customers, and here is what we see and how we see the emergence of frontier firm in particular around the AI transformation journey. There are three levels of the frontier firm. First and foremost is where the humans ask questions and AI answers. This is the most basic application of AI, but it is very powerful because it helps you get started. At level 1, every employee has their personal Copilot as a generative AI assistant. Here is where the employee asks and AI answers. This is a very useful mechanism for Q&A type of aspects, for email and chat completions with capabilities like call notes, conversation summary, automated data entry, so on and so forth. The second key level is when humans assign work and AI executes on those work. That's where agentic AI comes into play. For example, AI agents take over more of self-service functions in ways traditional chatbots and IVRs could not, with more conversational aspects, with more generative AI aspects, so on and so forth. It doesn't stop there. Humans can also assign work to AI agents to directly engage with customers and provide automated sales activities, marketing campaigns that are more proactive in nature, and proactively reach out to customers in case of service scenarios, because more than ever, customers expect organizations to know each of them at a personal level. And this is where AI can also hand off the engagements to human service representatives for more meaningful conversations, for complex engagements where AI is still unable to solve customers' problems. So in the real world, AI is no longer constrained by different friction points. AI is in fact empowering human agents to do better jobs, to create real human connections with their customers. Level 3 is where the frontier firms are heading towards. This is where many of the AI agents can talk to each other. Humans and AI agents can assign tasks with each other. The escalation is very seamless. Context is persisted throughout different agents and different humans. It provides a level of autonomy where the learning loops are embedded into the ecosystem. For the conversations where AI agents are handing off the engagements to human service representatives, based on how human service representatives are able to solve those conversations, the learning loops allows you to improve your AI agents. So that's where the frontier firms are headed towards. Not only that, at level 3, you have a situation wherein your supervisors are coaching and monitoring both human agents and as well as AI agents to meet your business objectives. And this is where Frontier Firm brings agents, copilots, and coupled with your human ambition to create better connections, to bring efficiencies and effectiveness into your business operations, can add value and take it to the next level. So when we talk about autonomous customer experience for service and customer engagement aspects, at every step of the journey, we are bringing in agents today, which are available for you in the Dynamics 365 product space across multiple different segments. For example, in self-service segment, we already have customer intent agent that is available to you in public preview. We also have case management agent, knowledge management agent that are helping you close the loop and allowing your agents to focus more on maintaining that connection with your customers while handing off things like data entry, creating a case, managing a case to more agentic driven experiences. Not only that, with knowledge management agent in D365, you will have knowledge articles suggested to you by AI with humans in the loop, wherein humans can review those knowledge articles and approve for AI to use the next time when your customers are reaching out to you. On that note, these 3 key agents that I spoke about, customer intent agent, knowledge management agent, and case management agent, are available in our both products today, contact center and customer service. Customer intent agent and knowledge management agent, they're available in sign up in public preview and try it out. Case management agent is also available inside customer service. Now we have seen and talked a lot about agents. So what I would love to show you in the next 2 to 3 minutes is some of these agents in action. So let me play a video wherein you can see how these agents can talk to each other and help you bring autonomous aspects for your contact centers. Alrighty, so we are super excited with some of these capabilities that we are planning to take it to GA very soon. And before we take it to GA, one of our key commitments is to leverage these capabilities within Microsoft first. And many of you might have already seen how Satya announced in the previous earnings how we are leveraging some of these GenAI capabilities within our contact centers to realize value, to learn from these initial proof of concepts that we are doing at a production scale. And when we bring these capabilities to GA, these capabilities have those learnings ingrained and improved for as well. And super happy to share that these capabilities are already helping us drive for transformation in how we do support and service within Microsoft. We are seeing double-digit improvements in our KPIs that we actively track with the help of these generative AI capabilities and agentic AI capabilities. For example, with the help of intent, we are seeing already 20% reduction is our misroutes. Now, when you talk about the scale at which Microsoft operates, wherein we have more than 1 billion customers across the globe, tens and thousands of service representatives who are taking calls, chats across our contact centers. And when I talk about being across the globe, we are literally present in more than 100 countries, more than 90 contact centers dealing with more than 40 languages. You can imagine the scale of value that we are talking about here. So even if we are talking about 20%, when you look at that scale, 20% brings a lot of value to our contact center aspects. Not only that, one of the key metrics that everybody tracks in the contact center is first call resolution. We have seen 31% improvement in our first call resolution with some of these AI capabilities. We are already using Copilot very, very elaboratively within our contact center space. And with Copilot, we see roughly 12 to 16% reduction in average handle time. This is another key metric that everybody tracks in the contact center. 9 to 12% increase in how we are managing cases and chats that are managed by support representatives. And overall, 13% decrease in service reps requiring peer assistance to resolve cases. Peer assistance is when you transfer the case, when you ask for help from your supervisors, when you ask for help from subject matter experts within your ecosystem that are managing those products. So this is when truly the productivity collaboration comes into place as well. We're already seeing 13% decrease at places where it requires multiple agents, multiple subject matter experts to come together to solve a problem, which means that we are bringing more autonomy, which means that we are bringing more empowerment to your human representatives who are dealing with customer cases as well. So these are some of the numbers that we are seeing in contact center within Microsoft. We meet customers at where they are in their journey, as I mentioned, from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. It doesn't matter where you are in your digital transformation journey. We have all the tools, all the capabilities to meet you where you are in your journey and take you towards your North Star goal to meet your business KPIs. So super excited to be part of this particular product group and represent Microsoft's Dynamics 365 customer service and product contact center aspects that we have as part of our product portfolio. So if you have any more questions, I'm still around. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn to have any deeper conversations on any of these capabilities that I showed to you today, more than happy to connect with you. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, I'll be still hanging around for the Q&A sections. So on that note, Greg, back to you.
Thank you so much. And I mean, just so exciting to see what Microsoft and the team is doing from this particular perspective. Just the amount of transformation that they're doing is quite exciting, and it's definitely revolutionizing the way that we do business. I mean, you know, Alpana talked about this. Think about this. I mean, just wrapping a call. I mean, it's a commodity action. We're essentially entering in data, and if it takes 1 to 3 minutes to wrap a call, you can reduce that by 2 minutes. That autonomous agent is providing the information readily available for you to do it. And on average, an agent loaded cost can be anywhere from $60 to $100 per hour times 5,000 interactions per month. That's significant, right? So those types of things add up. Now, before we jump into the next section, we're just going to do a quick survey. So Sahil's going to open up a survey, and we were just curious, you know, out of everyone on the call, you know, who is, you know, currently looking at deploying an autonomous agent. You know, we have, you know, let me see. Sahil, are you able to? There we go. So do you currently have an autonomous agent or have a plan in place to deploy autonomous agents in the next 12 months? So, you know, if you're looking or you have one deployed, focused and ready, if you're planning and aligned, looking in the next 3 to 6 months, exploring and evaluating, or don't have any plans at this time, just exploring, please respond. We'll see what the results are, and it will be interesting to see what everybody responds to. So Sahil, can everyone see the polling section? Okay, so we will respond. We'll provide the responses back to everyone. And then, you know, at the end, once we kind of wrap everything, we'll send those out for everyone's review. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and move into Mr. Rastia. He's going to talk about the industry trends and benefits that we're seeing, real-time use cases, best practices, and those you know, lessons learned in deploying autonomous agents. So with that said, Jon, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you, Greg, Alpana. So yeah, you can really kind of see that the next 2 slides that I'm going to kind of present are around, you know, what Gartner and McKinsey are really saying. Just to put an additional point, Microsoft has put, you know, a lot of investment to these AIs and what it's really, you know, going to start to accomplishing here. So here was an interesting article that Gartner came out with, you know, what were some of their AI top strategic predictions for this year and beyond. And it really discussed how organizations in every industry are being, you know, kind of swept up in rapid wave of, you know, AI innovation and the associated risks. Those that proactively assess the AI's potential impact will gain a competitive edge, but must also remain very grounded. Those organizations should view these insights as a call to action, you know, kind of like laying the foundation for a more smoother, more controlled transition in the future. And a couple of things that really kind of jumped out to me on this one. I'm not going to clean the slide here, I promise, but the 3 ones that really jumped out was by the year 2027, 70% of the new contracts for employees will include licensing for usage clauses and AI representations of their own personas. So you can really kind of see not only is it going to be more data driven, but it's going to actually kind of bring off, you know, more of a more persona feel to it. So you can see it kind of, you know, rapidly getting that way. And by the year 2028, technical immersion will impact, you know, populations with digital, you know, pieces called, you know, social isolations, prompting around 70% of organizations to implement, you know, some of their digital policies. And I also looked at this as that healthcare, you know, providers will be able to include more emotional AI related, you know, terms and conditions inside some of these, you know, chat technologies. So that's going to be, you know, a huge, you know, turn that we're seeing AI, not again, only focus on the data, but on the, you know, emotional sides of things as well. The next slide, McKinsey kind of talks about, you know, a lot of its views generating AI agents as the next evolution in AI, moving from content creation to more of an autonomous, action like we've been talking about. So by acting, inside real workflows, agents have the power to significantly boost their productivity innovation, as Alpana kind of showed in some of the videos and in a demonstration. But a lot of comes with a lot of cascading risks that demand new forms of governance. But we're going to kind of take you kind of like some of those things that as we end out to kind of fully harness what their potential, your companies need to rethink some of their operations and how to embed these agents into their core processes so we can really take care of a lot of these benefits outlined here, being able to, manage, multiple tasks at the same time, real-time problem solving, learning and adapting over time is one of the greatest pieces here, I think, because we've always talked about AI, putting it to work for us. We've seen a lot of the AI pieces out there where we're kind of feeding it information and it uses that information fed. But now as we're kind of looking at these autonomous agents, the real power there is that, we're able to, it's learning from, cases, knowledge bases, articles, chats, conversations, all these things that kind of drive into, an area that help us really ground us and helping, like I said, when you start seeing, we see 30% of first time resolution, 15%, and reduction of average handle time. In most of the companies that I've kind of talked to, 15% is gonna make a world of difference, to them. So we're gonna kind of like work at those. But again, all this investment from these companies are really gaining some, traction here, and it's not stopping there. On to the next slide here. We're going to start getting down into a couple of these, really real use cases. And I want to make a finer point right here before I kind of step into the next three slides. The next three slides really kind of, encapsulate a lot of these, places are right now talking that by 2027, that's a year and a half from now, they are projecting 1.4 billion autonomous agents across, across organizations. Like again, 1.4 billion in the next year and a half. Really kind of looking into that. What I really kind of want to help you ground in the next couple minutes here is how we can really look at some of these. And here's one of the examples here where again, Alpana, really kind of looked at this and said, hey, here's a quick video, but this is going to help you ground it just a little bit more. And we have all of these abilities. So when we want to learn a little bit more after this, please contact me. We can drill down into these and kind of show you these case management agents, how it can really help. Again, how does it help us automate case handling, right? It can triage, route, resolve cases based upon learned behavior and set and preset logic, okay? It provides next step recommendations. So again, we're suggesting actions, responses based upon knowledge articles, and based on other case content. So again, it's learning and it handles that end-to-end case flow. So as an example, we recently just did a demo for a customer that we actually demoed, how to actually troubleshoot a fusion nuclear reactor. Most of us weren't able to do that, but using this autonomous agent, it learned from the cases and knowledge base and built an entire end-to-end case workflow. So I had a brand new case, agent show up, and they were able to walk us through how to troubleshoot that. Okay. So by solving those problems, it's going to help us, with inconsistent case resolutions, how to standardize a lot of those, improve consistency in how those cases are handled from beginning to end. And again, high volume repetition, inquiries, well, that automates routine tasks. So human agents can absolutely focus on more complex cases. So what does that really kind of benefit us out into? Yes, like we talked about, faster resolution times. The AI-powered automation ensures a lot quicker handling of common scenarios. Improved customer satisfaction, absolutely goes with it. Timely and consistent service boosts that CX metrics, like the CSAT and like NPS. Okay. Lower operational costs. Again, when we're really looking at this, if we can reduce that, again, 15+% average handle time, that means fewer manual interventions that are needed, enabling scaling without a linear increase in the agent actual headcount. So right there, we're able to kind of show this in multiple ways. And again, it's AI going to work for you. Let's look at the second scenario here in the second agent. And I love this agent here because it's actually part of the growing suite of the autonomous agents. And this one's going to allow us to streamline and automate customer service operations. Been doing this at like a really long time. And I can't tell you how many times a customer's come back and say, well, our customers, our agents are too old. They're not technical enough to do that. And it's just like, this is where this autonomous agent. So I just want to do a quick time up and a real check with everybody. So if you find yourself and you're kind of yourself, you're seeing yourself saying that, what this agent does here is it allows us to automatically take a case that's coming in, whatever that case is, whether it's like, retail, whether it's healthcare, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's fixing a widget or a fusion, nuclear reactor. What it's doing here is it's actually automating the case article creation and updates. So it uses AI to take that case and to draft a new article from the resolved case, chat, and emails, anything that's associated to. So as your agents are working on providing solutions to it, it can look at that and say, you know what, I'm going to create a knowledge base article for that. And what it does is it kind of takes all that information, puts it into a knowledge base article as a draft, and we have somebody else coming back over there, and it can actually look at the information, and I can review it, make modifications. I can look at the suggested content improvements it wants to put on there. So make sure we don't have duplicative data. We're not underperforming any articles or recommends updates or consolidations. Automatically does that just based upon your agents entering in cases. And then all I have to do is review it and publish it. And once I publish it, now that's available, to all my other agents. So again, those autonomous agents, when you're saying, again, my agent workforce is not going to do that. Well, they don't have to, because the system automatically, based upon your cases and your conversation, automatically creates those for you. And you can kind of see here just a little bit underneath the hood here. I just put a screenshot on here, just to really kind of say, yes, we have levers in here automatically that's going to look at them and say, hey, I want to filter based upon this content. I want to create it using historical cases or just ones that are brand new. Listen, I can even turn on auto publishing that's shown down here, lots of different options. So you can control those levers, as to what knowledge base articles it creates. So again, really automating that capability is very, very helpful. And then the next slide, please. This next slide for customer intents is honestly, I'll be honest. This is the one that really did make me fall off my chair. This is what we've been talking about and dreaming about for a long time. And one of the best case scenarios of investment around AI that's really going to be put into work for you. The intent agents in Dynamics customer service, are agents that are designed to automatically understand and act on customer intents. What is the customer trying to achieve with service interactions, particularly in digital channels like, chat, email, other kind of digital messaging, on voice. So what it really does is identifies the customer intent in real time using AI models trained on historical conversations and case data. Stopping right there. Every single night, every single 24 hours, even the system uses AI to determine when is the system being used the least. So typically at night, okay, it looks at all the information, re-puts it through the data AI model, which is only your data, your case data, your knowledge base articles, any other knowledge articles you feed it to. It's not a chat GTB model. It's not going to go out there. This is only based on your stuff, and recreates all the different intents, and identifies that in real time. So the next morning, it's actually learned over time. So that by learning over time, it continuously improves its understanding of the language patterns your user behavior and your service taxonomy uses. It supports all your customer intents, allowing organizations to define their own businesses, specific intents and map them to automated actions. It will walk them literally through, almost kind of like a decision tree, based upon, past experiences and how to actually ask it what to ask, what it's looking for. And then once it gains all the information it needs for that, it can then go back over to all those knowledge base articles and recommend the right, the right actions. So what does that help solve? I mean, again, through your slow or inaccurate routing of customer issues, it recognizes what the customer wants immediately, reducing any kind of triage time. Your high agent workload from repetitive tasks by automating the initial steps, right? Identifying, categorizing the issue, asking all the right questions. It's got all that right there right away. So it's going to help, the inconsistent customer experience, right? It's going to provide that fast, standardized responses and workflows for all your customer intents. And the benefits, obviously, looking at faster resolution starts, we all kind of come back to those KPI, reducing, the time to action by instantly understanding the customer's need. Okay. Improving customer satisfaction. We've kind of talked about that. I can say this, all day long, because, once we actually have a bad, action, that we've had with a customer, we typically tell between 4 to 6 people of that bad, piece that I had with the customer. If we've had a good experience, we tell 1 or 2. But going back to the bad one, if you had that one bad, you tell a lot of people. So again, helping, improve customer satisfaction, we can definitely have more of. But increase our agent productivity as well. We want to free the agents from all these repetitive tasks of identifying the issues, and it really allows them to focusing on solving them. So, but we can actually take, what's helpful on that is, again, all your training that you're putting into all your agents, we can have them sit down and reduce that training time, have them sit down right away, start taking, the next conversation and help building into them into the next one. Next slide, please. So really kind of looking at this, we really want to make sure that we take the right approach in this. So this is a lot, right? So you're kind of looking at, oh, wait a second, these autonomous agents are going to help me, input case information. They're going to help me create knowledge-based articles, and then they're going to help me create a whole knowledge tree. And I'm sure you're kind of getting your arms around that a little bit. But what we're here to help you with is really looking at, again, what are some of the best practices, and lessons learned that we've had, in Microsoft as well, on what we need to do here. What do we need to set up to make you successful? So as part of, implementation and deployment out to your teams, we're going to have, training, we're going to have change management. But, as part of that, as we're setting up the system, we also want to take a look at a few things here. So some things to kind of keep in mind here are, number one, absolutely define your business outcomes first, right? Identify your use case. Start with high impact, repetitive, rule-based tasks. Example, case triage, knowledge, surfing, order status, password resets, things like that are always very repetitive. Look at those first. Set your KPIs, focus on measurable outcomes, right? Reduced average handle time. We want to increase first contact resolution, deflection rate, or increasing CSAT. Make sure that we have those those KPIs identified. Next one, we want to assess and absolutely prepare your data. So we want to make sure that we've got some clean, unified data. But as I kind of showed you before, on that one slide, we can actually tell it to say, hey, I want you to go look at historical, or you're saying, either I'm dealing with a clean system, or going forward, let's not look at historical. Let's make sure everybody's trained going forward. We have the options to do that. So we can, again, leverage, different, Dataverse and Azure AI searches to retrieve, a lot of that information, whether that's structured or unstructured data, to add to it. But you want to look at that and really kind of say, hey, here is your data you want to fit into those models. Another one is really, an important piece here, obviously, is involving the right stakeholders, right? Your cross-functional team should include customer service leads, your IT, compliance, and change management teams. Make sure everybody's in there. Your agent trainers, assign your business units to help train and refine the agents' language and their actions, and kind of run through some of those scenarios, so they're going to see how this actually, does kind of fit in through their day-to-day operations and makes them better. Start small, then scale up. Absolutely. So we want to pilot first, right? We want to look to deploy a limited user group to a very specific channel. Example, again, internal agents assisting versus customer-facing chats, things like that. We want to take that and say, hey, guys, start small. Again, just maybe look at the chat only, and then deploy it out to other different channels, to other channel agents, versus internal versus external. Use phase deployments and to test behavior, collect the feedback, and refine the responses. You have the ability. We can actually take this up. When you guys contact me, we can actually pop the hood, and I'll show you on the intent how it builds the intent and how somebody can come back in there and say, hey, this was put in there, via the AI data model, or we can manually enter them, and you can change the behavior on any one of those intents. So we'll pop the hood. But the more important things, you have access to do that. Designed for human AI collaboration, right? So, agent assistant mode first. Consider starting with agent assistant before customer facing, allowing agents to validate the responses. We want to ensure the agent can escalate complex queries seamlessly to live agents as well. So again, it's designed for human and AI collaboration, human first AI collaboration. So you really want to make sure that you got a cohesive, unit there. Govern prompting and agent behavior. We want to make sure that, if you're using Azure OpenAI prompt engineering, we want to ensure that you got the best practices for grounding and safety in that. We want to make sure that all your data is secure. So there's lots of different ways that we have like center of excellence capabilities to help do that. There's also conversation monitoring. So we actually have a lot of, day one reporting that kind of like gives you all the customer service insights to monitor intents, what success and failures, what are those rates, and to retain as much as needed information to help build us going forward. But those reports are already in there. So again, we want to make sure we set up the right guardrails for sensitive topics such as PII, and make sure we also have the right fallback responses to things. So if it runs into an issue or it doesn't have the right response, how do we fall back on that? What should the system, do in those cases when it's, faced with a question it doesn't have an answer to? Okay. The last few are really kind of, again, training, monitoring, optimize that I just kind of talked about, right? Collecting user feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down. We have that in all the different capabilities that we do this. This gives direct feedback, that we can fine tune each agent, responses based upon agent feedback. Okay. We can align with the content subject matter experts to update the knowledge base regularly based upon all that fine tuning. Compliance and security. Data access controls. Making sure that you're using the D365 security rules to limit what the agent can access. Audit trails, making sure that we enable audit logs for all AI generated responses. And we want to making sure that, from an ethical use of AI, we want to align with your organization's responsible AI standards. That goes back to our, center of excellence that we can help you set up and making sure you've got all the right guardrails. And, when we kind of start looking at that, we are going to be aligning with the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So why that's really going to be important as we start to put in, different components and different securities. We're going to start to align everything with the Microsoft, ecosystem, because we're not going to be what we're talking about through this whole process. No additional, no additional code or customization or third parties were harmed during today's webinar or presentations we're going to go to, because we want to ensure that we're kind of starting off, with a very secure system. Okay, so that's going to be very, very, very important. And again, the last piece here. And again, a little bit maybe it kind of goes without saying, but hey, we want to work with you because what we've learned here is making sure that you're planning for change management. This is a change to your system. We want to train your support teams, all your technical agents, how to work with the AI and trust its suggestions and how to make it better and fine tune it. We want to communicate the value, showing how the autonomous agents improves their workload, not replaces them. So, with a lot of those pieces, with those, 10, best practices that we've learned while we deploy, we're going to be taking all these, pieces and really working with you and your teams to deploy each one of these to make it very successful. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Greg.
Yeah. Powerful words of wisdom, John. Look, if you're looking to kickstart your autonomous agent, your bot, your AI, Copilot program, this is a good place to start. Take the words of wisdom, take it into your practice, and I think this will help you accelerate these types of, programs and benefits that you'll see. Real quick, we're going to do another poll. So Sahil's going to go ahead and load that one up. And curious on this one, what are the biggest issues and dependencies that you find in deploying AI? things along those lines. So we'll wait for the poll to come up, and would love to get everybody's responses, and we'll close the poll and see what the results show. John, can you see the survey by any chance?
I certainly can. I'm just waiting for, just looks like just a couple more we're coming through here. So
Okay,
it looks
perfect.
like, yep, we've got we got several polls in here. So it looks like, wow, very close to 70% are looking at exploring and evaluating or planning to align within the next 3 to 6 months. So I think that's that we've seen that very, very consistent. Excellent, excellent. And then the second piece of that was really around what are the biggest issues. Absolutely. This becomes a no surprise. Data quality, data integrity at a little bit over 40%. That kind of goes along absolutely with it. We see this. We have an entire team that's going to come in. We can do security and cyber security assessments. We can actually also kind of come in there, make sure that we got the right center of excellence around your AI readiness. I know that's a lot to say, but we totally agree with that. And that's why we've got a whole package that will absolutely walk you right through that and help work with your teams on a center of excellence. Then what came in there was very interesting. That 25% no issues. They're moving forward with autonomous agents. So I think we've actually have seen that grow significantly over the past 3 months. I think that's almost doubled, Greg. So
yeah, exciting stuff. And apologies, I can't see the poll results, but looks like we got a lot of good data coming in. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and move into the Q&A section. So on the top left of your bar, or top of the screen, you should see a Q&A box. Feel free to enter your questions in there. And then we'll go ahead and ask each of the speakers, go ahead and turn their camera on, and we'll move into that part of the session. Right. So, first question that we have coming up, curious, I'm going to push this to Alpana. How do autonomous agents integrate with existing, architecture, business apps, things along those lines? On average, a contact center agent has to navigate between 6 to 15 different systems. So they're playing swivel chair, going left and right. And integration is the way that we can really kind of streamline those interactions. So from your point of view, how does the autonomous agent integrate into a current ecosystem?
Amazing question. So thank you, whoever posted that question. Thank you so much for asking that question. See, there are 3 key challenges that I hear. One is silo data, second is fragmented systems, and third one is disintegrated experiences. Now, with the power of AI, with the power of autonomous agents, we can address all these 3, provided, just like the way we have done in Dynamics 365 Contact Center, we bring you the agents right where your human representatives are, so that your agents become the layer on the top. Your AI agents, they become the layer on the top to interact with any data that is sitting in 10, 20 different systems that you have. Majority of the times, what we have seen in the contact center space is that they have evolved over multiple decades of existence, right? I mean, when they started off with traditional case management and ticket management systems, and then voice came in. So voice was our standard contact center support channel. Predominantly, that's why they were called as call centers, not even contact centers. Then came digital engagement. That's why call centers got renamed to contact centers. So we have seen this evolution happening in customer engagement. And as part of this evolution, the concern, the question that we are getting is very valid, because the data, the systems, it is scattered throughout. With AI agents, it can be a layer on the top. You can let your AI agents talk to different systems underneath, and let your customers and human agents talk to AI. So AI becomes the abstraction layer on top of your individual systems. And that's how the AI agents bring the unification of data, unification of interfaces, and productivity for your customers, and as well as your human representatives. I hope that helped, Greg.
Yeah, spot on. And it's interesting. John was alluding to the survey results. 40% of survey results came back around data, right? Data integrity, data quality. You have to index, you have to be able to segment, you have to be able to create the pipelines and things along those lines. And being able to bridge those islands of data into one Microsoft ecosystem gives you the power of unification to increase the KPIs like first call resolution, making sure that we're servicing that case individually at the right time for the right customer at the right time. If you do not provide that superior level of service, they will defect. I read an article the other day saying that customers would rather go to the DMV and get their teeth cleaned than talk to a customer service agent. I mean, think about that for a second. So anything that we can do to simplify that interaction by leveraging the Microsoft ecosystem. So think of, Dynamics D365, Copilot, Power Platform, and then the Fabric, modern data lake perspective, being able to bring that data in so that you can surface it up at the right time is spot on. And I think that Microsoft ecosystem provides a superior, opportunity to do so. John, I got a question over to you. So, it looks like, people are kind of focused on the commodity, the easier kind of use cases and things along those lines. But when you have complexity and branch use cases that, move around the organization, do autonomous agents work in that type of scenario? What's your point of view from that standpoint?
I think I must have a very whoever asked that question has most definitely has written a chatbot, probably 5+ years ago, because I'm going to kind of start there because back in the day, when you wrote some chatbots, you had to have something what's called a topic and a trigger. So the topic would be based upon hey, here's all the information I'm going to give you on your case status. But you had to have a trigger word. Trigger words had to be, had to have the word case status, had all these different trigger words. If you asked it a different way, the bot would kind of look at you and be like, sorry, it really can't happen. So it was very, very linear, not a lot of branching really handed on. Thus, we've come a long different way now. So while the autonomous agents are highly effective at handling those routine repetitive tasks like password resets, order lookups, appointment rescheduling, they're increasingly capable of managing those moderately complex business inquiries as well. So here I'm gonna get a little technical, but using tools like retrieval augmented generation, RAG, and accesses to that structured or unstructured data and intent recognition, they can now handle those multi-step or branching processes or nuanced workflows. So examples, insurance claims processing, IT troubleshooting, or policy recommendations. It's now built upon those bricks. We start with the data now. We can give it data sources, and it's going to learn from the data sources, and without having to no longer build my topics and my trigger words. So that but then what we can actually kind of build into is yes, we can handle multi-branching, multi queries now. But that said, very complex and high-risk decisions, legal, financial, medical, often will require escalation to human agents or hybrid decision-making to ensure the accuracy and compliance. And that's why all those really kind of come together and build out those complexity models. So the autonomous bots really have come a long way to that.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Really come a long way. Okay, as a reminder, we do have the meeting recorded. We do have some blogs that we're going to bundle up. We're going to send it out to each of the registrants that attended today's call. In addition, we are going to be giving away a free assessment. We will be announcing that next week. We're going to do a drawing and looking forward to reaching out to the winner from that standpoint. On behalf of everyone at CompQsoft Digital, thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. We hope you have found this presentation informative, educational, but most importantly, fun. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. Feel free to connect with Alpana on LinkedIn. I mean, you will see a wealth of information through our blogs, what our product team's doing, and we're so excited to be working with you and the Microsoft team. So with that said, the future is bright. Let's go do some autonomous agents, y'all. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day. This concludes the session.